Hi, I'm attorney Ben Schwartz, and today we're going to talk about a viewer question. The question is, what are the most common causes of slip and fall accidents? And the answer to the question is, I don't know what the most common causes of slip and fall accidents are, but I do know what the most common causes of accidents that result in litigation through my office are. In other words, I can tell you that we handle slip and fall cases. We see slip and fall cases from New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Delaware, and Maryland. And one of the things that I do as a personal injury attorney is evaluate whether there's a viable claim for slip and fall personal injury lawsuits. So in the cases that I see, the cases that I handle, I can tell you the most common types of slip and fall personal injury cases that I see are cases involving slipping and falling on ice or on snow. That's pretty major, in the wintertime in the mid-Atlantic region. Typically we get several snowfalls, and not every property owner is adept at adequately clearing the snow and ice accumulation. And so what happens is people end up slipping and falling and getting injured, and then coming to my office for legal representation. That's probably the number one thing. We also see wet floor cases. It strikes me that there are a good number of cases that we see that involve people entering into stores or entering into commercial establishments, and when they go in through the stores, either there is no mat and the floor is wet, maybe it's been raining, and they slip and fall on the wet floor, or they go into the store and there is a mat, but the mat is in some state of disrepair, and it's either rucked up or it's curled up. Curled up mats are bad news in stores because people fall over those mats or catch their toe and trip and fall. And so that's another type of case that we see not infrequently. The third type of case that I think we see quite often are defect cases, construction defects, or defects in walkway surfaces, defects in the way the walkway surface has been maintained or repaired. And so, just off the top of my head, some recent slip and fall cases that I've seen. I saw one where, actually several in the last several years, where someone is going down a set of stairs, and the stairs are not solid. In other words, the stairway moves. So I can think of one example of a client that we had who was walking down a staircase from a mobile home, and the staircase was one of those fiberglass staircases. It was not tall enough to reach the bottom of the step, not tall enough to reach the bottom of the door frame of the mobile home, so they put it up on blocks, but they didn't create a footing for the blocks. They just put it on concrete blocks. When my client stepped on the block turned, her ankle turned, she fractured her lower leg. So that's the type of defect in the staircase where the stair is not solid and it doesn't provide a solid footing, and so my client fell. I've seen cases where someone's going out the door to go down the stairs, and the door frame, there's a metal door frame or metal step across the bottom of the door frame that's not sitting on a footer, and it tilts when you step on it and it pitches you down the steps. I've seen cases where there are riser height differences. So by code, if you've got a staircase, each step is supposed to be uniform. In other words, you're not supposed to step up X number of inches and then have to step up Y number of inches. It should be X number of inches, X number of inches, X number of inches, so that your body doesn't have to adjust to the differences. And so I've seen people who go up or down a staircase and the riser heights are different. It's a code violation, but because they're different, they catch their toe and fall, or they don't realize how far they have to step down and they fall as a result. So these are some of the construction defects that we see in slip and fall cases. So basically, to answer the question, I realize that's a lot of information for a very simple question, but to answer the question, there's snow and ice cases, there's wet floor cases, and there are construction defect or construction maintenance cases that we see. Those are the three types of slip and fall personal injury cases that I think make up the majority of the cases that we see in my office. I'm attorney Ben Schwartz. Hopefully you found this informative or helpful or entertaining. If you have questions about slip and fall cases or other types of personal injury cases like car accident cases, medical malpractice cases, workplace injury cases, send me an email and maybe I could answer your question on the internet, ben.schwartz@schwartzandschwartz.com.